when Mohammad Al-Fali, the head chef and co-owner of our Fali Brothers Bistro in Dubai, received an email in January 2022 from the world's 50 best restaurants group, he thought it was junk mail. He had to read the message 3 or 4 times before he believed that the dining room he leads with his 2 brothers, Omar and Wassam, was shortlisted on the annual list of best restaurants in the Middle East and Africa region. He then sat in the corner of the kitchen and started crying. Well, a few months later, Fali Bros debuted at number 6 on the region's 2022 list.
In 2023, Fali Brothers was named number 1 on the MENA World's 50 Best Restaurants list. The achievement, Fali says, wasn't easy, particularly in Dubai, where competition from high-profile chain restaurants and hotel dining rooms is intense. But the chef believed his Syrian-inspired bistro would find an audience.
It has, in June, Fali Brothers debuted on the overall world's 50 best restaurants list at number 46. As demand for Middle Eastern cooking and ingredients has risen in the past several years, fueled by its relative low cost and healthy profile. Syrian food in particular has garnered attention. In London, the acclaimed Imad's Syrian Kitchen is moving to a bigger location on Cardi Street to accommodate its growing audience. The Cuisine is also getting recognition in New York thanks to the new Brooklyn spot, Psycho. This menu includes such dishes as meaty sucuk sandwiches featuring the Syrian beef sausage with garlic paste and pickles. In Los Angeles, year-old pop-up novel for brothers, Armbe Dote and Ben Zakari. There's a short list of changing Syrian specialties that so often includes the sucuk wrap and sandwiches with the walnut stuffed bacon and benedictus. Noted Middle Eastern chef and cookbook author Anissa Ayru, whose father was Syrian, says interest in the cuisine has grown with conflict in the country, which has raged for over a decade. And with the fact of war displacement, Syrian food has gone kind of global. People are talking about Syrian cuisine, she said. The food has its roots in Damascus, one of the oldest cities in the world, dating back to at least 3000 BC. The land was notably fertile, says hello, and because of the different civilizations, and that it was at the crossroads of the silk trade, she says Aleppo became the gastronomic center of the Middle East. It isn't easy to separate Syrian cuisine from the broader category of Middle Eastern food, including dishes like the bread salad, fattoush, and shawarma. Even native chefs have trouble. It is nafas, decadent, lush, and soulful. The one kitchen that has no fuss, says Homa Mayasso, a London-based Syrian chef, about the cuisine. At a moment when every culture boasts their cooking credentials, Syrian cuisine is notably defined by recipes that are passed down across generations and the hospitality that goes hand in hand with that concept.
Its long history and global migration has also made the food complex. Fali says several of the country's most famous dishes are classified as Levantine, referring to the 8th region in the southeastern Mediterranean that includes Lebanon, Palestinian territories, Jordan, and of course Syria. There's some defining Syrian dishes such as the well-spiced chopped meat and bulgur dish kibbeh, tabakro, a lamb and vegetable stew, and shish jango with the popular grilled chicken skewers. Shish tak is on the menu at Ahmad's Syrian Kitchen, which reopened in central London in early August. Founder and head chef Imad Al-Arnab fled his home country in 2015 because of civil war, leaving behind a mini empire of fast food restaurants and juice bars. He arrived in the UK the same year. He says the cosmopolitan, diverse nature of UK capital let him dare to create his own recipes and eventually open a permanent spot. And there's been so much interest in the restaurant that
Alarnab recently debuted his first cookbook, Imad's Syrian Kitchen, HarperCollins, with 120 books of his recipes, including hummus bilze, mugidara, build your wheat with brown lentils, and the milk-based dessert mahaleh or mahalavia. In it, Alarnab chronicles his journey as a refugee and asylum seeker on his way back to the kitchen. It's a celebration of how food has the power to bring people together. He writes in the book.
And Dubai Rafali also credits the multiculturalism of the emirate for his restaurant success. As a unique position in the Middle East, where I represent myself in the city. He says his goal is take guests to his native Syria by way of dishes like Come With Me to Aleppo, Wagyu beef, and kebab with sour cherry sauce and pine nuts. But establishing Syrian restaurants in different countries isn't without challenges. Some UK customers aren't comfortable with the authentic dishes, says Alarnab. He recalls a day when, after spending hours making kibbeh for a pop-up, a customer refused to try it because it included cooked yogurt. Now, Alarnab slightly tweaks his recipes to appeal to local customers, for instance, using fresh yogurt instead of cooked and baking the cauliflower for the usually deep-fried dish farah.
Authenticity has been a challenge for Laila Chansi Pasha and Sam Medizadeh, the co-directors of the UK-based Middle Eastern pop-up Tumen Tahini 2. They've struggled to recreate the spice pictures they found in Syria, Chansi Pasha says, but haven't changed the recipes to people's taste. In their version of chicken fateh, the traditional dish based on fried pita, with tahini and garlicky yogurt dressing, they use shredded chicken, added in chunks, and add crunchy chickpeas on top to make them they're fun to eat, she says.
Appearances matter, says Kansi Pasha. I think it's also more overwhelming when you see this plate of actual kibbeh naye. And if you've never had it before, also you're like, what the hell is this pink thing in front of me? Still, Tumen Tahini represents an authentic Syrian experience. For many diners, people kept coming and saying, it feels like we're walking into someone's house, she adds. And
the support for Syrian restaurants and concepts has been strong. In 2020, Alarnab crowdfunded £50,000 in 3 months to open his first restaurant. The Tumen Tahini, who have been courting to have a private equity firms, say they recently raised £200,000 from investors.
And the Orfali brothers are hoping to open another restaurant in the UAE. Orfali tells Bloomberg that he's also brainstorming a new concept in London, as well as the possibilities of opening a restaurant in hubs like Tokyo and New York. For the chef, it's not just about expanding the brand, it's holding on to a piece of his native area. Our cuisine is a hidden gem as we struggle to market ourselves properly, he says. It's our identity, and if we lose our food, then we lose our identity.